Homelessness is not just for drug addicts. Homelessness is not for people who are struggling with alcoholism. It happened to me, and yet my background, I am a registered nurse, I am a registered health visitor, I am a registered midwife. But for some reason at my job one time, I lost my job. And a few months later, less than 6 months later, about 4 or 5 months later, I lost my home because I didn't have any income. I ended up having to sleep in my car for quite a few months, which was not too bad. All things I had to send them somewhere into some other place for storage. It was very difficult because I never thought that something like that could happen to me. However, I'm a very serious Christian. What helped me on a personal level, I just prayed and asked God to keep me above the experience which I didn't expect. Because I didn't have any money, the car actually disappeared after a few months because I couldn't pay the road tax. And that made the situation was much worse because I really had then to sleep in a car park or the edges of the car park. That was the safest I could find. That was really, really difficult. But I didn't stop praying, and I did not despair because I just trusted that God was going to see me through it. And one time, at some point, an evangelist gave me a leaflet, and the leaflet had some numbers, which was also mentioning where the people are, and it also mentioned the homelessness. So on these numbers, I rang Pastor Nims, that was one of the first number which was there, and he responded very quickly. And he just asked me a few questions about how I became homeless. I just gave him a snapshot of what happened to me. He came, told me that there's Pastor Alex who literally specializes in homelessness. He gave me his number. He told me he was going to give Pastor Alex my problems. And before I could ring Pastor Alex, he rang me. But he told me there was no shelter, homeless shelter for women. There was homeless shelter for men. However, there was a process going on for getting shelter for women, which was going to be ready in about a month's time. Well, I felt quite sad because it wasn't there for women. Because I honestly feel that women, homelessness is much more difficult than men. That's my view. Anyway, Pastor Alex asked me to come and see him to have some discussion, and I just didn't think it was any good because there was no shelter there. There was no place for women. From nowhere, he rang me a week after I spoken to him, and he said, "Come and see me. I've got a room somewhere where we can help." I saw him, and he described this shelter where they were still building, but he told me there was a room there where you can sleep. It's quite ready. There's got bath, kitchen, bed, and that sort of thing. I was very relieved. I got there almost the same night I saw him. I found myself in there. And it was such a relief to actually sleep in a bed after months of just sleeping here, there, and everywhere. I was very focused on trying not to get depressed. When I was there, I literally focused into trying to get the internet because I had somewhere to put my head. I could think properly, I could rest properly, I could clean myself properly, which I didn't manage to do when I was out in the park. Eventually, I managed to find myself. I spent my time when I was there for a couple of months, searching the internet as to what I could do, what I can help myself with. And eventually I found some other places where it is quite cheap. The rent was very low. I only had my benefits to depend on. So I managed to get a room. And I moved on to the room. And that's the way I started to move on. So in all these areas, it's very important to just know that there is hope. It's very important for me as a Christian, other people have got other strength, to know that God is always there. So when you are in this situation, is focusing on the main things. It's very easy to get depressed because homelessness can be very, very isolating. Well, I was isolated because I didn't even think there was anywhere else I could find anything. But I was strong because I really depended on God. So when one finds that, if you find yourself in this situation, it really is not, most of the time, you might have been very much a professional. There's no guarantee that you will stay there. Homelessness can happen to anyone. Regardless of the status you might have had, life is like that. But I managed to go through it because one, I trusted God. Two, God directed me to people who could help eventually. And then Pastor Alex and Pastor Nims helped me. So I was in the highway house shelter for about 2 months. And that was the beginning of starting to get somewhere. Thank you.